let's go to the cylinder. Now I'm just going to outline, much like how we outlined what was going to happen to the sphere. Let's figure out what's going to happen to the cylinder. Now for the cylinder, the polygons are doing something like this as a wireframe. And then we're going to have a little bit of a bevel on the edge so it's not super sharp. And it kind of meets like a pie on the top. So in this case, if the light is up over here and there's a bevel, there's going to be a nice little highlight there. And the way a cylinder works is it's going to have the lightest part of it here and a fall off this way and a core shadow there. And sometimes you could see another core shadow on this side depending on the angle. And then over here is going to be not the brightest, but also not the darkest. Right. So just by doing that, it starts to already look 3D, but let's actually do it carefully. I'm going to keep it nice and stylized. Again, this is not a perspective drawing course. I'm going to fill that in with that 80% color. All right, going to lock the transparency. Select that. We're going to go halfway to black. All right, yeah. Select halfway to black. Just lay in that value. And just by doing that, I'm not going to make the top that dark, but I'll change it in a moment. You zoom out and we recognize that as a cylindrical form as indicated by that core shadow. Could even emphasize it a little bit with a bit of darkness. Let's make that top part a little bit brighter. And we want the form to kind of roll, meaning I don't want this 80% value to be the same all the way to the edge. I want just a bit of an indication that there's a fall off on the other side too. Going to add a bit of bounce light on this side and create a nice little gradient on the top there so it's darkest at the furthest point. All right, so now that we have that information, we can put a nice little highlight there. We're not painting it so that this is a sharp edge where the geometry would be like this. It's more that it's curved like that. And the more you practice that, I think the better understanding you have of what light is doing, even at the subtlest bevels. Go ahead and take this and merge it into the line work. I'm gonna have a little bit of fun using the mixer brush tool over here and just blend all that in. Gonna leave that highlight alone for a nice little stylized cylinder. Cool. Let's go ahead and change the value of the background so that we can really see this silhouetted against the darkness. Let's bring this back to our RGB hue cube. All right, that really pops out. Now, sort of a stylistic choice that I like to make is that if you have this highlight here, I want it to stand out. So I'm going to actually make the values around it a little bit darker, even if that is or is not the accurate thing that would be happening. So now when you zoom out, it'll pop out just a little bit more. And depending on where that light source is, there could be a reflection like that going down on the actual cylinder, depending on the material, of course. If this is more metallic, it would be a sharper reflection. If not, it would not be a sharp reflection. We could also imply that there's another light source over here on the right by just putting in a little highlight there like that. There's a lot you can do, but again, I just want to convey the very basics of what to look for rendering, these basic forms, and moving on.